This tree is a ginkgo, a very classic species, and it's got this really nicely shaped leaves. So it's fall right now, so the leaves are turning yellow, which looks stunning, and then they will come off in about a week or two. So since we're starting the tree today, which is a good time to do this kind of work on ginkgo, so mid-fall. Ideally I would have waited until all the leaves would have come off, but it kept it a little bit longer, so I'm gonna help with just removing the leaves. You're looking at the front of the tree. This is the main directional branch, and I'm thinking of tilting it a little bit towards here. It will just accentuate the shape of the trunk a little bit better. So what we'll do today is remove all the leaves, prune the tree a little bit. There's a few branches quite long, and add some wire to it, and that's it. So in the next spring, 6 months from now, we'll put this in a nice bonsai container and then also adjust the angle. So let's begin with taking off all the leaves, and after that a bit of pruning.
Try to select pairs of branches that are more or less of the same thickness and wire these with one piece of wire. Start with wiring the main branches and slowly work your way up the tree. Smaller and thinner branches need a thinner wire as well.
Alright, finished wiring the tree. Without the leaves it's so much easier to see the structure, and that's the beauty of working with deciduous material. If there's no leaves, you can really see the tree well and work on it and make good decisions. The downside, however, is that if you want to display the tree, it will have to look nice in winter without leaves as well. So very different from conifers, for example. You can hide big wounds with a bit of foliage because the foliage is always there. But with deciduous material, big cuts like here, you will see it for a long time. For now, like I said, the tree will be tilted a little bit like this. So say more or less like that. So immediately it becomes clear that this one is too long and this is also a little bit too long, but especially this one. So I'm just going to shorten those a little bit. I already put the wire on it, so I'm just going to remove it. So that's one thing I wanted to shorten, and the other one is here. So I'm thinking I'll shorten it to more or less here. All right, so I think this branch will also be a little bit shortened, and well, basically that's pretty much it. So I'll set the branches in position as well, and that's all the work that I'll do for today. So in the next early spring, the tree will be repotted, put in the right angle, and maybe a little bit more pruning can be done then. But for today, I'll set the branches in position, and that's everything for now. So if you make bends, it really helps to make bends over your finger. What that will do is just spread the tension over a bit bigger surface so that it doesn't snap right away. So just over your finger, you can bend it, and not too much. Ginkgo, it's a little bit hard to bend, and also I don't want to create too dramatic movements. Also because the trunk isn't that dramatically moving, so I don't want the branches to be all over the place. I want them to be calm, mimic the shape of the trunk. All right, this ginkgo we styled half a year ago in fall. We pruned and wired it. but we didn't touch the roots at all, so it's still placed in the original plastic container. And today it's early spring, so it's the good time to repot it. There's buds already shaping here. I'll take it out of its pot, work on the roots a little bit and see if I can place it into a new, nicer bonsai pot. So the pot that I have in mind is a simple glazed bonsai pot. So let's see the situation for the roots, if we can fit it in a pot like this. So the soil it's planted in right now, it's mostly organic soil, which isn't ideal. You see a lot of mosses here that aren't very beneficial. The soil is very wet because it just doesn't drain well. But it's typical for nursery plants. So I will remove most of this organic soil and then place it into the bonsai pot today with the soil mixture that we recommend, which is a mix of akadama, pumice and lava rock in equal parts. And this is an inorganic mix, which is much more draining, so much better for the health of these trees.
Styling a bonsai tree and applying these sort of techniques correctly is one of the most difficult parts in creating a bonsai tree. You can check out our YouTube channel for videos about these techniques, but perhaps also consider enrolling in one of our online bonsai courses. Here, expert teachers explain all the relevant techniques in detail, and as a student you can also ask questions directly to the teachers. Simply go to bonsaiempire.com/courses. So this is the first pot we have in mind. The glazing would look really nice on the yellow leaves of the ginkgo. And the shape of the pot is a bit more modern, which I really like. And then the second pot is a much more classic rounded pot with a blue color, which also would look good on the yellow leaves of the tree. Also a correct size, but I think the first pot option just looks better on the tree. Next, we prepare the pot by covering the drainage holes with a mesh. We also attach 2 long wires, which will be used to anchor the tree to the pot firmly. We also prune some of the old roots, which can be distinguished by the dark, almost black color. We add a layer of soil before placing the tree into the pot. Place the tree slightly off-center in the pot and make sure to plant it at the right angle. Using the 2 long wires, we firmly attach the tree to the pot.
So back in the garden with my ginkgo. It didn't grow as strongly as I would have hoped last summer, so there is not an awful lot to say right now. I did prune a few of the longer shoots. Other than that, I think the tree just needs more time to develop. It's fall right now, so you can see the change in color. Most of the leaves, more than half or 60–70% has fallen off already. So these come off really easily now. I think there's 2 things that I want to do today. So one is improve the nabari a little bit. There's a few roots that are crossing here. I think we can clean up. And in the summer this branch grew out as well. I pruned it back a little bit, but I think this will have to be reduced a bit more because it's just growing upwards from the branch and I don't want it to be a new apex. So a few minor changes and that's all for now. The tree just needs a bit more time to really develop. All Alright, like I said, the nabari here, so the front of the tree is in this area. You have a thick root here, and then there's a few things growing here which I don't really like. So I'm just going to prune those away. Yeah, I think that's all for today. So the ginkgo will go into winter. I won't do any special protection. It will be outdoors. Perhaps in the very coldest night here I might take it into an unheated greenhouse, but it's a strong tree and it will be just fine. It doesn't need to be repotted in spring, so I'll let it grow out in spring, and then come summer, so if there's long shoots, I can start taking those back, and what that will do is it will create a bit more back budding, and that's what I need in a tree. I need some new branches to fill up these spaces and make a bit more a fuller tree. But I don't want it to be bigger, so I need new branches on the interior of the tree. So I'll see you again in about a year from now.
Learn how to create your own bonsai trees by enrolling in one of our online bonsai courses. We explain techniques like pruning, wiring and repotting, and you can ask questions to the teachers. For the curriculums and free lessons, go to bonsaiempire.com/courses.